Okay, I'm gonna talk very quickly, and I'm gonna move quickly here. I want to highlight 3 areas that I suggest you work on. Don't just gloss over this, but really work on it, because I see people come to these meetings sometimes. They sit off by themselves. They sort of observe the whole thing, but they don't really engage in it. And there's a big difference between watching this thing happen and what is surely, as God lives, going to happen here in the United States in the next 3 or 4 years. There's a big difference between watching it happen and participating and leading and being a part. And I hope everyone in here begins to see themselves as the leader of your own organization and not, oh, I'm in so-and-so's downline. You know? No. You are the leader of your own organization. You don't make any money off your upline. Have you figured that out? We usually try to hide that from people, but they figure it out eventually. You make money off your organization as it grows. All right, so let's work on this. Let's build our, okay, so am I doing it right now? There we go. Let's work on our relationships, all right? It was Gandhi that said, the strength of numbers is the delight of the timid. And without question, I mean, the absolute best way to build your confidence in this business is to get yourself around other confident people that have succeeded, that know what they're doing, that have been where you want to go. And you spend time with them. And this all starts, of course, with, all right, I'll just have to cue you here. This is not working. It is. Okay, with your upline executives, somebody, I hear people say, oh, well, my sponsor's not in the deal, or my sponsor's this or that, or I don't even know where they live, and all this. Listen, when I first got in the business, I was sponsored in by a guy who had been in network marketing about 24 hours longer than me. It's true. And this guy was, as full of stuff as a Christmas turkey. But I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. And I've said that to his face. He knows I talk about him. But we were just from different worlds. But he hit me at a right time in my life, and I got really excited about it. But you know what? I didn't have a whole lot of confidence in his ability to make money since he'd never made money before, and he was just starting in the business. So I called the company. I said, is there anybody in my upline that's making money? Because I want to talk to him. Here I come from this sort of education background. I want to talk to him, and I want to find out exactly step by step, how do I do this business? All right? And they said, well, there's a guy that's 13 levels up from you. That gave me a lot of confidence in this thing, that's making some money. And his name was Richard Call. You guys know Richard? How many of you know Richard? Okay. Unbelievable man. I called him on the phone. And he was here. I was calling from Austin, Texas. He was in Hop Hog, New York at the time, I believe. And I got him on the phone, and I said, Richard, I just got in this business. I told him a little something. I said, I want to know exactly how to do it. And he says, well, you're in luck, because I'm going to be in Austin in a week. I want to sit down. He says, I want to sit down and talk with you. I can't do his voice. I want to sit down and talk with you. And I said, good. And so I got everything ready. I was real nervous because I was going to meet this legend, in network marketing. I finally found a guy that was making money, and he said, we sat down, and I was trying real hard to impress Richard. Okay, I'll be honest. I had this big ego, and I said, Richard, I'm this. I'm in all this graduate school, working on my doctorate. I have to teach all these students at the University of Texas, as we call it. And he said. I said, Richard, I really want to know, how do I work this business? What's the secret? Everybody wants to know the secret. How do you work this business? And Richard sat there and he said, Dennis, I'll tell you. You show the product. You show the plan. More than that, you cannot do. I said, yeah, look, Richard. You don't understand. I need a business plan. I need a system. I need some stuff, man. I need some education here. And Richard looked at me and he said, Dennis, education don't matter. And I said, it don't matter? He said, education don't matter. And I want everybody to do this with me. Hold your finger up like this. He said, all that matters is what you got in here. Put your finger over your heart. except now tap it 3 or 4 times, because that's what he did to me. All that matters is what you got in here. Now, this guy did not get a high school education. And so, thank God I didn't let my ego get in the way. I stepped back and I said, you know what? This guy knows something I don't know. He knows a lot I don't know about this business. And so I started showing the product and showing the plan, showing the plot. And he said, show it and show it. I said, how long do I do that? He says, until you don't got to do it no more. Oh, man. It's true. It was interesting. You know, after that, I was scared to death. I said, is there anybody above Richard? I don't want to talk to him. No, I don't want to talk to Craig Bryson. I'm afraid of what he'd say. Okay, other Nu Skin leaders. And by the way, that was a relationship that was not built on credentials of any kind. It was built on heart. It was built on emotion. It was built on desire. And he sparked that so strongly within me, because I had a lot of whys I want to do this business going on in my life. Maybe I'll share some of that later. At the time, dreams that are just now coming true for me and my family. Unbelievable stuff. Take advantage of other Nu Skin leaders, okay? You know, some of the richest relationships that I have are with other leaders that are not even in my organization or in my upline or anything like that. Okay, people say, why do I want to work with somebody else from another line? Why do I want to have anything to do with this person over here or that person over there? It's because, you know what? You guys, you know, people talk about momentum, all right? And I see these Facebook postings, and I see things, you know, we've got 1,400 people. This is momentum. And then next month, we've got 1,500 people. This is momentum. And I say, you know, you really don't understand what momentum is. Momentum is when you have 1,200 people this month and you have 9,200 people in 2 weeks. And then 3 weeks later, you have to get the Salt Palace. And I have seen that happen, okay? And there are people out there that are worried, oh, we're in momentum, we're in momentum, we're in momentum. Listen, you've got, and this is my opinion. Everybody say your opinion. Okay. My opinion is that we've got at least 2 to 3 years of groundwork to lay before we get into a serious growth curve again, to where you're going to see that kind of growth. People say, "Gosh, it seems so hard, man. I work this business. I do this. I do that. Just believe me. You got to stay with this thing. You're not there yet, but when you get there and you have your organization over the next 2 or 3 years, those of you that are just getting started, you want to build an organization." Because when people start jumping on this ageLOC bandwagon, you want them to jump somewhere in your downline when that happens. And you'll be astounded what's going on.